You were here with Tripedal Reviews. Today I'd like to continue our discussion on creating lo-fi effects in the Beebo. In the first video I went over the basic building blocks of a lo-fi sound. In that video I went over a patch I made to emulate a warped vinyl type sound with a delay line. In this video I'd like to show you a different way you can achieve that effect with no delay. I'll also be going over the tape stop and vinyl modules, which were recently added and are excellent for creating lo-fi sounds. We will review the Slew limiter and a simple trick to changing your warped record style modulation to more of a mangled tape modulation. I'll also show you how to achieve radio-like dropouts and static to emulate radio interference. Now it's worth noting, in the first video I made, I showed you how to get similar type sounds to those that you're going to hear in the vinyl module with the macro oscillator. In my opinion, it is still worth experimenting with the macro oscillator module to get these sounds. There's a lot of variety you can conjure up, so if the vinyl plugin isn't scratching your itch specifically, then make sure to check out that first video so you can go about creating your own. So let's get into it. So in this patch, I've created it to be a vinyl style emulation. But instead of using a delay line, I've used the Vibrato extension module. The Vibrato extension module allows you to control vibrato via an external source, hence the name. In this case, I'm controlling it with a random stepped LFO. And let's just hear what that sounds like by itself. So we can hear there that we have this random stepping going on with the vibrato. It's changing the pitch. It's got that clicking sound when it's enabled. And the reason for that is it's directly jumping between different values. Now, the Slew limiter, which is this module right here, is going to take your changes in state, and you can set times for both down and up, where those state changes are going to gradually go up and down instead of stepping directly. So you're basically changing a random stepped type to a random slope type. So let's hear the difference here. Again, here is the random stepped LFO. And this is with the Slew limiter. So as we can hear there, that smooths out all the edges. It also gets rid of that clickiness that we were hearing before. And there I have my Slew limiter value set quite high, which means that it's going to take more time to go between those states. That also means that it decreases the depth of the effect because there's going to be less change in the up and down. Now, if we want to increase the warble on this, we can turn these down further. For example, if we turn this down, there's going to be more warble. And we can do the same thing with the down parameter as well. So that's how you can get warped record style modulation. Now the real easy trick to getting tape style modulation is just to turn one side or the other either completely down or very, very low so that you have more dramatic increases in the jumping. So that's all there is to the pitch warbling of this patch. And then I've connected this into a voltage controlled amplitude control, which is just controlling the volume. So that is controlling the volume of the signal that's going from my input to the vibrato and then to the output. I'm also using the same LFO to modulate the crinkle on the vinyl. And then the vinyl signal is going into a voltage controlled amplifier as well, so we can crank up the gain or just control the gain completely separately of the vinyl module. Now, one thing you want to make sure of is when you're doing the vibrato extension, you want to have this vibrato mode set to on, which cuts out the dry signal. If you don't have that on, you're going to get chorusing, which is also cool, but may not be the effect you're going for. So let's take a look at the vinyl module. The vinyl module basically gives you a bunch of control of noise. It doesn't actually do the warbling modulation. It just adds various noise. So let's take a listen to some of the noises that it does have. This is motor noise. This is noise. You can control the pitch of the noise down here. This is crinkle. You can control the pitch of the crinkle here. This is static. This is rumble. You can control the pitch of the rumble here. And then we have crinkle. You can control the pitch of the crinkle here. Then there's two other parameters, which is aging and aging frequency. And to demonstrate those, I'm going to take out the signal going to this VCA through the vibrato and just run it through the vinyl. And the aging frequency starts with low frequencies down here and higher up here. So if you have a higher aging frequency, you can kind of hear that. So it's really powerful filtering to allow you to do your high pass or low pass filtering however you like. So there we have it. That's the basic building blocks of this patch. Basically just something inserted in here to control the pitch, and then checking out the new vinyl module for noise. So in this patch we have 3 different signal paths. I've got my input, which is going to 2 different volume controls. One is just my direct volume, which then goes into Turntable Stop, which all of these do. This one has vinyl noise that goes into a volume control and then into Turntable Stop. And this right here is just a volume control that I'm modulating randomly, which then goes into Turntable Stop. I'm doing the random volume modulation with an LFO, and it's just doing the regular step. And you could also hook that up to a slew limiter like we did in the last patch, but I like it jumpy in this instance. This LFO is modulating the volume of static. In this patch, you can't actually modify the volumes of these in this patch, which I really wish you could, but you can't. So they are what they are. You could control volume by putting separate vinyl patches and then VCAs after each one, and then just turn on and off your individual effects as you want. But in this case, I'm not going to do that because I've just only got one parameter that I'm turning on, and that is static, and we're going to modulate the static volume. Then that is going into a volume control into the turntable stop and out to the output. So let's just take a listen to this. So there we can hear we're getting random audio dropouts and random static as well from this patch. Now let's check out the turntable stop, which I've tied to the B button here. So a very cool effect. This is the decay curve, and then this is the decay time. And between those two, you can get all sorts of cool effects. Now you could also not run everything through the turntable stop. I'm doing it in this example, but you could get interesting things if you tied that to a delay line, for instance, and then also had your drive signal running through it. Would be cool. But that's pretty much this patch. Like I said, I just have the volume controls here so you can individually control the volume of all the different signals going into it and get your perfect mix. So I'll go ahead and put the TPR radio static and TPR warped vinyl patches up on patch storage if you'd like to check them out. I'll leave the links to that in the description of this video.